Okay, so we're live, we are live. Let's see what we have in the house tonight. Let's see who's joining us and where are you connected from tonight as well. Good evening, so good to have you on board. Good evening. I'm your host and the speaker for tonight as well. It's a two-in-one duty tonight. So let's see where you're connected from. Good evening. Good evening, and thank you for joining. Now let's see where you connected from tonight. Tonight. hmm Let's see where you were connected from tonight. Okay, I think I have quite a lot of things to put up. Um, let's see. Let me have this to stage. That's easier this way. All right, good evening. I'm still waiting for everyone to join the call before I start proper tonight. It looks like we have to go ahead because it's a few minutes past 8 and it's been a very busy day. And I believe that's been a very busy day for everyone as well. So, yeah, let me just hear from you. Good evening. Good evening. Where are you connected from tonight? Where are you connected from tonight? Good evening. So good to have you on board. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining and welcome to L Talk with Kemi. Welcome to L Talk with Kemi. If it's your first time joining, thank you for joining us tonight. And do not forget to hit on the red button below to subscribe and be a part of L Talk with Kemi channel. And it's always nice when we have new subscribers. Thank you so much. Good evening. And tonight is all about immunization in Nigeria and how I'll be talking about immunization in Nigeria. And I feel this is a very important topic because not everyone is conscious or aware of the number of vaccines they have to take before growing up, right? And I recently visited should I call it health center? I don't want to say health center, okay, should I say a public health center? And I just saw that most parents even keep their young children vaccines. They skip the doses. They say they didn't know, they forgot, they are not aware. And I feel that as parents, or should I say as parents to be, it's very pertinent, very important that we are conscious and aware of the numerous vaccines that each child is to take before growing, or before reaching a certain age. And that's what we'll be discussing in tonight's session. So it's so good to have you on board. Thank you once again. I think I should just put myself up so yeah, you all can see me. Thank you once again. Welcome to L Talk with Kemi. It is your first time, I say a very big welcome. L Talk with Kemi is a YouTube platform where we provide accurate health information for everyone to empower you and to also help you make informed decisions about your health. It means if you go through the videos on this page, they are health videos that would actually help you to be more conscious and aware about your health. And we also host live sessions like this where we have different guest speakers come up to teach us about different topics. And for the month of May, we've had discussions on womanhood, wellness, and hormones. We've had discussions on family planning and contraception, and this is our third session in the month of May. We're talking about immunization in Nigeria, and we'll have two more sessions for the month of May. So thank you and welcome on board once again. So let me just go quick into what we have tonight. Tonight I'll be talking in depth about immunization, and I want you to understand the role of immunization. I believe everyone knows. Okay, yes, let's get immunized. Let's take the injection, the vaccine. But what does the vaccine really do, or what is immunization? And I'll bring up my slide tonight. And at the end of tonight's session, if you perhaps have any question, please feel free to ask or type in the comment section, and I'll be sure to respond to all of your questions. Okay. So let me bring up the immunization slide so everyone can see it. Yeah. Okay, let's start from the beginning so it's easier for everyone to access and see as well. And I hope you can see the slide that is being displayed. Yes, thank you. I hope you all can see the slide that is being displayed. All right, so it says immunization in Nigeria, which is a very important topic and a cause of discussion as well. Then the next slide, we'll talk about the content outline. It had a topics for discussion tonight. We'll talk about the definition of immunization, benefit of immunization, types of immunization that we have. We'll talk about the Nigerian immunization schedule, and we'll talk about common reactions to vaccines. I've had people say when my child got vaccinated, she was shivering, she was hot, she was cold. We'll talk about the common reactions or side effects of vaccines as well. Now, let's talk about immunization. Immunization is simply the process of making a person resistant to a particular infection or disease. And this is achieved through the administration of a vaccine. It means immunization is the process of making a person or an individual immune to a particular disease. And how do we achieve that process? We achieve that process by vaccinating or giving vaccine or vaccine doses to such individual. Now, when vaccine are taken, the immune system responds by producing antibodies, which neutralizes the antigen in the body. Now, I think I'll break it down so because I don't want to speak, medical gibberish tonight. I want you to understand what I'll be saying. When we say we are immunizing someone, it means we are providing protection against a particular disease or infection. Remember COVID-19? Yes, that was 2020. Remember the lockdown COVID-19 season, and almost everybody was mandated to take to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Then now it simply means that vaccine was to protect you against COVID-19. But whenever a vaccine is actually being introduced into the body of an individual, here is what happens. The vaccine contains, I think, or you must have had someone say, vaccine contain that particular disease that they're trying to prevent you from. Have you ever had that before? When someone tells you, vaccine contains the particular thing they're trying to prevent you from having. Now, vaccines contain, shall I say, inactivated or weakened parts of a virus or bacteria. Now, when it is being introduced, it means that this particular virus or bacteria is inactive and it is weakened. Like it might even be a small part of the virus or the bacteria that is in the vaccine. Now, when that vaccine is being injected and introduced into the human body, here is what happens. Your body recognizes that there is a stranger. Now, let me use it in a very layman language so that you would understand. Now, your body recognizes that there is a stranger. There is something happening that is not used to happening. There is something in the body that, that has not been there. Now, what your body does, or your body's response, your body's immediate response to the introduction of this particular inactive virus or bacteria by the vaccine is by what? The immune system responds and immediately produces what we call antibodies. So antibodies are your body's defense against infection and disease. So it's like soldiers, rise up and let's go. So your body so the immune system produces the antibodies, which then fight against the antigen that has been introduced into the body by the vaccine. So this simply means when next your body comes in contact with this kind of infectious disease, the immune system responds because it now recognizes, it's like the memory cells are active. They now recognize that, okay, we've seen this kind of case before. We've seen this kind of thing before. Antibodies gather, let's go and fight. That's simply why vaccines are being given. So vaccines are given to initiate the antibodies in your body to fight and protect and prevent disease and infection. So when like people that took the COVID-19 vaccine, it simply means if there is another round of COVID-19, which I pray there would not be, right? But even if COVID-19 comes again, what will happen is your antibodies, the immune system will respond and say, guys, we've had this kind of case before, let's fight. So the antibodies recognizes the COVID-19 infection or virus or bacteria, and your immune system starts to fight against it by producing antibodies to defend your body, to keep your body, to protect you. That's why we take vaccines. Now, do you understand that? And do you understand why vaccines are very important as well for every child? Not even for every child, even for you as an adult, right? There are vaccines that even adults are supposed to take, like hepatitis B, which is very important for everyone, not even for just children anymore. Right? So that's what a vaccine does. It just protects your body. So the vaccine has stimulated something in your body, actually in your immune system. So your immune system now has a memory cell that recognizes and remembers that we've had this kind of case before, right? And this case cannot happen again because the antibodies have risen to fight, to support, to protect, and to keep your body safe as well. So that's why I would take vaccines. So vaccines introduce the antigens. Antigens are acting as the negative side, but the antibodies in your body are the positive side, which then gathers together and fight against the antigen, which keeps your body safe. It means your body now recognizes whatsoever infection that is. And the next time that infection tries to show face in your body, it says, you know what, I've seen you before, you're going away, we'll fight against you. So that is the work of antigen versus antibody. Now, let's talk about the benefits of immunization. Why should everyone get immunized, or why is immunization very important as well? I said not just for children, but even for adults, right? It prevents disease or disease prevention. Yes, just like I said, immunization actually helps to prevent disease. There are things flying around. Well, thank God for those people that did not take the COVID-19 vaccine and are still safe. We thank God, though. Glory to God. But it actually helps to prevent disease. It prevents disease from occurring, prevent disease from happening as well. When you are immunized against something, remember the antigen and the antibody system that fight and attacks each other. They are not friends. So antigen is trying to come with a negative effect. Then antibody is saying, go back. I know who you are, and I'll fight for this body that I possess. Right? So they are not friends. So immunization actually helps to prevent disease from happening to an individual or in an individual. So when you are immunized, you are safe, or you have a higher chance because you have been immunized against such particular disease. Now, it also protects complication, or it prevents complication. Yes, there are some things that can be prevented. I believe so much in prevention by doing the right things. There are some things that can be prevented. Now, let's take an example of tetanus, right? When someone is affected, or should I say when someone has an injury or an open wound, the first response, when the person is brought to the hospital for treatment, you notice that, okay, you might not notice, but then I'm telling you, right, they would always give that person tetanus injection, to prevent infection. Do you understand? Now, if that wound is infected, God, may we not see infection, because infection is another thing to nurse on its own, because infection just keeps, may we not see that kind of infection. Infection just keeps getting bigger, bigger, especially infection on an open wound. It can be very deadly. So when an individual gets immunized, it protects the individual from further complications. Then it provides long-lasting immunity. Yes, like I said, when you are immunized against a particular disease, you are safe forever, right? If I can put it that way, because now your body will protect you no matter, even when that thing comes 8 times, your body is still saying, I know you, and I'll fight for this body. So it actually provides long-lasting immunity. It simply means you, as an individual, when you have been immunized against a particular disease, you are now protected, you are now safe, and you have the immunity, because now your body is stronger, right? The antibodies are up and fit, they're up and doing, and they're ready to protect you at any point and any time. Then we also have reduced healthcare costs. Yes, when you are not sick, when there is no cost for hospitalization, except from other things that happen, right? When you are not, when you are properly immunized and you are not infected based on maybe lack of immunization, it actually helps to prevent and reduce healthcare costs as well. It just makes things easier for you. So it reduces healthcare costs. It means when you are safe, when you are fine, there is no point of going to the hospital, there is no point of healthcare cost and anything like that. So those are the benefits of immunization, and many other ones as well. But these are the 4 key benefits of immunization. It prevents disease, it protects the individual from complications, it provides long-lasting immunity, and also reduces healthcare costs as well. Now, let's talk about the types of immunization. What are the types of immunization? I want you to understand that there are 2 basic types of immunization. There are 2 basic types. Now, the first one is called active immunization, and I will explain it properly tonight. The first one is called active immunization. Now, this type of immunization involves exposing the body to an antigen. Just remember the key role of the antigen. It's like the policeman and soldier, right? Let me say antigen is like the policeman, and the antibodies are like the soldiers. I want to believe that soldiers are more powerful, right? So this type of immunization involves exposing the body to an antigen to stimulate the individual's immune system to produce antibodies and memory cells. So when we talk about active immunization, it's simply means something is being introduced. It means we are introducing an antigen to the individual's body in order to stimulate the individual's immune system so that the immune system would produce antibodies and memory cell that would also make the body aware and informed of such disease and protect and prevent such disease from happening in the nearest future. That's what we call active immunization. It means it means you are the one inducing the antigen into the person's body so that the antibodies can respond, fight against it, and protect the body from such infection even in the nearest future. Now, this kind of immunization provides long lasting immunity because now we have introduced something to the person's body, and now the body recognizes such disease, and the body would always fight for you and protect you even in the nearest future. Now we have two types of active immunization, and the first type is called natural, oh pardon me please, it's called natural active immunization. Natural active immunization. Now natural active immunization simply means it means that there is a disease that happened within the body system of an individual. Now when the person recovers completely, the immune system still recognizes such infection or disease and would fight and protect the body when such disease try to occur. So that's what we call natural active immunization. It means, for example, if I have measles, right, and maybe I took medications and I got better from the measles and I'm whole completely healed now. My body or my immune system recognizes that we once had measles. Now, the memory cells of the body has recognized and memorized that okay, this thing once happened. We fought against it, but probably we failed. Maybe because that person was not yet immunized against measles. So now, when next it wants to happen, the antibodies would come together to fight and say, "You have no way. We've experienced you before, so we know that you are here to cause harm." Can you see why the antibodies are so good, and can you see why you must take good care of your body as well? Because the immune system is playing a vital role in the body. So now the antibodies come together and say, you know what, you have no way, we have seen you before, and you cannot possess this body again. We reject you. That's simply what we call natural active. It means even without taking any immunization or any vaccine, your body is fighting for you. Now, the second type of the active immunization is artificial active immunization, which means, do not forget, we are inducing the antigen. It means it did not just happen by mistake. It was introduced, and this is when vaccine comes in. When you give an individual a particular vaccine, let's take for example hepatitis vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine, right? That is a perfect example of artificial active immunization because it was introduced into your body, which produced the antigen. Now your body recognized that antigen and fought against it. Now in the nearest future to come, if such antigen or virus or bacteria enters the body again, now your body will fight against it and say, you know what, you have no way, we can't allow you to go, you are going nowhere. Now, do you understand that? That is the artificial active immunization. Now, we also have what we call the passive immunization. For the passive type of immunization, it's quite different and quite peculiar because nobody is introducing anything into your body. For the passive type, it is quite temporary, which means it wears off over a long or short period of time because it is not permanent, because it is not within the individual system. For the active, it is within the individual system. It means as you have measles or whatever is happening within your system as an individual. But for the passive, it's not acting within the system of such individual. Now, let's take for example, it says this type of immunization involves providing an individual with ready-made antibodies, which means the antibodies are not acting within your system directly, but it was provided by someone, right? Which means it's not the antibodies in your body initially that are fighting. It can be the one passed down. It can be the one given to you. Now it says the individual immune system is not active in producing these antibodies, which means your body is not the one producing the antibodies. They passed it to you, or it was injected or given to you. Now it says this provide immediate but temporary protection, which means this won't protect you like the active type of immunization. It says it's mostly cleared from the individual system, and they're also grouped into two, or we have two types of passive immunization. Now, the first type of passive immunization is the one I call natural passive immunization. This is very interesting because natural passive immunization can be gotten from from child to mother. Or should I say, yeah, mother passes it down to child. So it's gotten from it's gotten from the mother, so the child gets it from the mother. Let's take for example, during pregnancy, in the placenta, right? The antibodies are passed across to the fetus in the mother's womb to protect the baby as well and to keep the baby safe. So when the baby come out, the first few days of life, the baby might be fine because the baby is still using the mother's antibodies. But after that, it wears off. That's why we have different vaccines that the baby must take even from birth to protect the baby. Because now, when the baby was still in the mother's womb, the baby had antibodies that was passed down from the mother. Do you get it? It was passed down from the mother to the baby, so the baby was safe. Baby was protected. I mean, no harm could come to it because the baby was feeding off on the mother's antibodies. But now, when the baby is born, that's why we have different vaccines that we get to the baby as soon as possible to help the baby to also, to stay strong and to be fine as well. So, for example, like I just mentioned, during pregnancy from placenta to fetus, then also antibodies are found in breast milk, and that's why if you're a nursing mother or a mother to be, you would notice, and I'm saying it again now, that whenever you go to the hospital for checkup or for antenatal or even for postnatal distant checkup, they would always tell you for the 6 months of life, breastfeed your baby. Everything your baby needs is found in that breast milk: antibodies, protein. Think about all the nutrients that your baby needs to survive in the first 6 months of life. The baby has it all. Right, the baby has it all. So that's why they will tell you, just breastfeed your baby. Ensure you are well fed so you can also breastfeed your baby regularly all the time. So the breast milk also contains antibodies that would also keep the baby fit. Now, the good thing, or should I say not so good thing, is that this thing wears off because once the baby stops taking breast milk, what happens? The antibodies are no longer there. It means they are there for a temporary and short period of time, right? And that's why the recommended time or age to stop breastfeeding is 2 years. Can mothers to be hear me? It's 2 years. So the recommended age to stop breastfeeding is actually 2 years. So you are not to stop breastfeeding before 2 years. Does that make sense? It means you are to breastfeed the baby till the baby is 2 years old. Mothers, you are strengthened in Jesus' name. You have to breastfeed till the baby is actually 2 years old. So that's why you have to eat well so that your baby can also feed well from you as well. Now, that's the natural passive immunization. Then the other type of passive immunization is called the artificial passive immunization. For example, this one is introduced into the body to protect the person. It means it was not initially there, but because this person needs it at this period of time, we have to give to the person. Now, let's take for example tetanus injection. Maybe when a patient is rushed to the hospital, this patient had a fall, he hit his head against the truck or the floor and all, and he's bleeding and he has an open wound. Like I said earlier in tonight's session, I said you would give tetanus injection to, we call it TT, right, to prevent the patient from infection. So it means at that point in time, we are introducing antibodies into the patient's system so that it can actually protect the patient. Are you with me? So that can actually protect the patient. So we introduce such antibodies. So that's why we call it passive, which means it is gotten off someone, not that it was initially in the system, but it can be passed across, or it can be gotten from any ready-made antibodies that is available. And if someone needs it at that period in time, it can always be given to that person as well. So those are the major two types of immunization. We have the active. Let me just go back. We have the active, and I said active simply means we're exposing the body to an antigen so that the antibodies in the immune system can come together and fight and say, you know what, you have no way. And next time an individual is exposed to such infection or disease, the antibodies come together and say, we have memorized you, we know you, so you have no way. And I said it also have as the natural active and artificial active immunization. I talked about the passive. I said passive is temporary because it's always gotten from someone. It can be transferred from someone to someone or can be gotten from a ready-made antibody. And I mentioned the active, and I mentioned the natural and the artificial as well. And now let's talk about the immunization schedule in Nigeria. Now, I think here is the big deal that I want you all to pay attention to. Let's talk about the immunization schedule in Nigeria and why it's very pertinent and important that everyone gets immunized, right? Especially if you are working in the medical system, you know how it's very important because we come in contact with different cases. And trust me, so that you'll not even turn into a patient yourself, you need to, how Yoruba will say, Dira, just make sure that you're safe as well. So when a baby is born, and here is one I want you to actually pay attention to. When a baby is born, when we have a newly born baby, yay, baby is born, a bouncing baby is born. So the first step or the first thing that you have to do as a patient, I mean, as a parent, or not patient, please, as a parent, is to ensure that at birth, now at birth, your baby is entitled to three vaccine doses, three vaccine doses at birth. And the first one is called BCG. BCG means Bacillus calmette guerin. That is the inventor's name, so I don't think you need to know that. But it's called BCG, and BCG is given at the left intradermal arm. I don't know, but if you know, there is this mark, there is this saw, like there is this tiny saw that is always at the left arm for those that they gave you at the right place. So because it is intradermal, so if they gave you subcute, you might not have the saw. But I have the saw in my hand. That's how I'm trying to touch my hand so that you can see that I have a saw, right? So there's always a saw after the BCG. So you might notice that saw. So it's not a major cause of concern. I mean, if your baby was immunized in the right side and right center, your baby will surely have the BCG saw. So BCG is called Bacillus calmette guerin, and what the BCG vaccine does, it protects against the deadly and infectious disease tuberculosis. So that is the role of BCG. So it simply means once your baby is given the BCG vaccine, the antigens are introduced into the body. Now, the immune system responds that something that was not here is here. That gathers what? Your defense system, your antibodies, and say, let's fight. Then it's fight against the antigen that has been introduced by the vaccine. Now, it now protects your body because it fights against the antigens produced in your body. Now, it will now protect your whole body against reoccurrence of tuberculosis, which means even if you're exposed to an infectious, kind of tuberculosis patient or case, it means that for that period in time, and that's why, listen to me, even as we take vaccine, there is something called vaccine booster, which means you keep on taking. I mean, for it can be a short period of time, but you just keep on taking. You just keep on taking. And the not so good thing is most people do not even bother to take. They just feel like I've taken vaccine once. That's why I said some people do not even know that they are meant to keep taking vaccines. I mean, they are vaccine boosters. Thank God for safety. Thank God for protection, right? But there are also vaccine boosters that we have to continually take to keep ourselves safe and to also take good care of ourselves. So now your baby is being protected from tuberculosis. It means even at that point, if anybody that is infectious comes to your baby, what will happen? The antibodies arise and say it's time to fight. Something else has come. It's time to fight, and they just fight against the occurrence of tuberculosis. Now the next vaccine that your baby will take is what we call HBV, which is called the hepatitis virus vaccine, right? It's called the hepatitis virus vaccine, and it's also given at birth. I mean, at birth. Latest is maybe a week after birth, but mostly at birth is given to babies. But there's some hospitals that might not have, your delivery center might not have, but within 3-4 to 1 week, 3 to 4 days or to 1 week, your baby should get the vaccines that are recommended for birth. Now, this hepatitis vaccine actually prevents liver disease or liver damage in the baby. Now we have the third one given at birth called the OPV. It's called the oral polio vaccine. It's always 2 drops. It is oral, so you see it should be dropped into your baby's mouth. It's just 2 drops, and it prevents the baby from polio. Now, if you check the OPV, you would see that I put OPV 0, which means that your baby will still take other doses. That OPV 0 simply means the initial dose of the oral polio vaccine is just to protect the baby, but that would not do the full work because your baby will still have to collect other doses of the oral polio vaccine. Do you understand that? So now poliovirus causes poliomyelitis, which affect the nervous system, which causes muscle weakness and muscle paralysis. And in some children, it causes inability to walk. When the body parts, most times or most cases, it can be in the legs of such child, and then it causes paralysis in the sense that the child will not be able to move or to walk. Sometimes it even affects the respiration and breathing of the child, which might lead to death, because from stiffness the child is not able to move. It can affect the breathing pattern, and it can also cause death as well. And this is why it's very important that every child is well immunized. So at birth, your child is entitled to these three vaccines: BCG, hepatitis, and the oral polio vaccine as well. Now, after birth, 6 weeks, which is mostly 41 days. So when it's 41 days, you also take your child back to the primary health center or wherever it is that you are getting vaccinated. So at 6 weeks, your baby is to take what we call PCV. PCV is called pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. PCV is called, and your baby will still take other doses of PCV. PCV is called pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. Now, this, okay, you can see that I put one there. If you can check the slide, you see I put one. Pneumococcal conjugate vaccine 1, and this protects your baby against three major diseases, which is pneumonia, meningitis, which the Yoruba called yero yero. It's like, there's something wrong with the neck, but there's not. That there's something wrong with the person's neck, right? So it's called yero in Yoruba. So it protects your baby against pneumonia, meningitis, and hair. I mean, do you know why these things are actually surprising, and why I decided to educate people on this? Because many parents just took their children for vaccine. Okay, they said, because once you give birth and you attend a primary health care center, they would surely give you a card. There is this green card that is being used nowadays. So on the green card, there is your name, there is your baby's name, there is your biodata or information. Then you would see the list of vaccines that your baby is to take, right? You would see, although they will not put the weeks in front, but it has different column. For the birth, it might be deep green. For 6 weeks, it might be light green. For 10 weeks, it can be lemon green. There will always be something that distinguishes each time that your baby is to come for the vaccine. But the reality is, you might not know the work of these vaccines. You might just go based on, okay, my baby is to get vaccinated and I want to help my baby. But that's why I'm actually explaining, so that you would have the proper idea of the work that these vaccines actually, because they do a lot. I mean, they do a lot. So it's not just let me go and collect vaccines for my baby. The vaccines are working wonders in the baby's body. So now this PCV protects your baby from pneumonia, meningitis, and ear disease, also called otitis media, but ear disease. So it means at that point, your baby will not have ear disease. Now, your baby is to take OPV1, which is the oral polio vaccine, which he took OPV0 at birth. And I said that one is just to introduce your baby, right, to the polio vaccine, and your baby will still take more. So your baby also takes OPV1 at 6 weeks, which is to prevent your baby from what? From the polio virus. And at 6 weeks as well, your baby will take what we call rotavirus 1. Now, rotavirus 1 protects. Okay, I'm not really sure rotavirus 1 was included in the immunization schedule in the old days. For those that were giving birth in the old days, I'm not sure it was there, but I know it's part of the upgrade, because we thank God for growth as well in the Nigeria health, in the Nigeria health system. Things are getting better, because I'm not sure if rotavirus 1 or this rotavirus was there before, but it has been introduced now, and children are to collect this rotavirus at 6 weeks as well. And this rotavirus protects the children from diarrhea and vomiting. So it simply means that your child is free from diarrhea and vomiting. I mean, these things are really, really good. They're really good. And the third one that your baby will collect at 6 weeks is what we call pentavalent. Now, it's called pentavalent vaccine, but we like to shorten things in Nigeria, so we call it penta. But the full name is pentavalent vaccine, but it's called penta. Now, penta is a blockbuster, because penta would protect your child from 5 major diseases, which are diphtheria, pertussis, which is also known as whooping cough. So it means your child will be protected from whooping cough at birth and during the development stage, and childhood. The baby will be protected from tetanus as well, then from hepatitis B, and from Haemophilus influenza. So you see, these are the 5 major diseases that your baby will be protected from at 6 weeks when he or she takes the pentavalent vaccine. Now, we also have what we call the IPV1, which is called the inactivated polio vaccine. Now, this is just the injectable form of the polio vaccine that your baby has received. OPV is oral polio, which is, I said, is oral. It's just 2 drops into your baby's mouth. IPV is the inactivated polio vaccine, and it is the injection, or should I say, injectable form of the oral polio vaccine, and it does the same work as it to protect your baby from poliomyelitis, and it will also be given at 6 weeks. So it means that birth, your baby is to take three major vaccines. At 6 weeks, your baby is to take how many? Five. All the babies, well done and kudos to you. So by 6 weeks, your baby is to take five major vaccines at 6 weeks. Okay, at 6 weeks. Now at 10 weeks, at 10 weeks, your baby is just to continue. It's like a repetition of what he already took in 6 weeks, or an upgrade, because now he's taking the oral polio vaccine. So, and yeah, this is the third dose that your baby is taking for the oral polio vaccine. Your baby will take one at birth, one at 6 weeks, one at 10 weeks. Now, rotavirus 2. Your baby took one at 6 weeks. Now, is your baby is to take that rotavirus 2 at 10 weeks. Then Penta 2. It took the first one at 6 weeks, second one at 10 weeks. When I was in school, let me just quickly run a very quick background story. When I was in school, I used to cram this thing. We used to cram it. And I really hope that every student nurse, or medical student in school would also come across this video, because we used to cram it. Just used to say, okay, at birth, let me cram 4, at 6 weeks, at 10 weeks, because we didn't understand. But thank God for growth, and thank God for knowledge as well. And I also want everyone to benefit from all that I'm saying tonight. So at 10 weeks, your baby will take OPV2, oral polio vaccine 2, rotavirus 2, pentavalent vaccine 2 that fights against 5 disease, rotavirus fights against 2 disease, which is pneumonia, pardon me, which is diarrhea and vomiting. Then your baby will also take what we call PCV2, the pneumococcal conjugate 2. It's the one that fights against pneumonia and hair disease, right? So at 14 weeks, your baby would also take one, two, three, four vaccines as well. So at 14 weeks, your baby is taking OPV3, oral polio vaccine 3. Your baby is taking the pentavalent vaccine 3. That's the third dose. Your baby is to take the PCV3, the third dose, and your baby is to take the IPV2, the second dose, which is the inactivated polio vaccine. And I said it is the injectable form. The OPV is the oral form, which is being dropped, and it's 2 drops, even at OPV1, OPV2, OPV0, OPV3 is just 2 drops. Now the IPV is the injectable form of the OPV, which is always given to children as well. So 10 weeks and 14 weeks, your child is taking the same thing, except that your child is not taking rotavirus again. So rotavirus is just 2 doses, which is at 6 weeks and 10 weeks, and your baby is taking IPV2 at 14 weeks, which means IPV2 is taken at 6 weeks and 14 weeks. But every other thing runs through 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 14 weeks. The OPV, the Penta, the PCV runs through 6, 10, 14. The only difference is rotavirus runs only 6 weeks and 10 weeks, and IPV runs in 6 weeks and 14 weeks. Did you get that? All right, now let's move forward. So when your baby clocks 6 months, and thank God for all these vaccines, it might seem a little bit too much. And I hope that your mom helped you to collect all these vaccines, because my mommy, wherever you are, I'm going to question you. Did I take all these vaccines? I'll ask for my own vaccination card, right? So at 6 months, your baby is to take what we call vitamin A. Now, vitamin A helps to protect the baby from any vitamin deficiency in the future. So it helps to protect your baby from any vitamin deficiency in the future as well. So by 6 months, your baby to take the first dose of vitamin, which is always in 100,000 high it's always in a blue capsule. Yeah, the vitamin A, the first dose. That's why I put vitamin A1, because it is the first dose, and it's always in a blue capsule. So you see it in a blue capsule, and it should just be dropped into your baby's mouth as well. So that's what that your baby gets to take for 6 months. So when your baby clocks 9 months, your baby has access to 3 vaccines. The first one is the measles, which fights against the measles virus. The second one is the yellow fever, and the third one is the meningitis vaccine. Remember that your baby has taken let's say it took part of meningitis vaccine at birth at 6 weeks. Some of the vaccines has the constituent of meningitis, but at 9 months your baby is to be fully immunized against meningitis. So at 9 months, your baby comes to the clinic or primary health care center for 3 vaccines, which is the measles 1. Take note, measles 1 means that your baby will still come back for another measles dose, right? So measles 1, yellow fever, which that one is just one, and meningitis vaccine by 9 months. Now, once your baby is 12 months, which means your baby is already 1 year old, your baby is 12 months, your baby is to come back for the vitamin A, the second dose. And by this time, it is always in a red capsule. Remember that the vitamin A for 6 months is always in a blue capsule, and I said is 100,000. And for the vitamin A to the second dose, which your baby will take when he or she is already 1 year old, it's always in a red capsule. The vitamin the vitamin A2 is always in a red capsule, and that's always 200,000 IU, and everything will be dropped into your baby's mouth as well. Now, by 12 months, in all sincerity, I don't think all these things are really happening in Nigeria, but this is the Nigeria immunization schedule that I'm reading out to you tonight, and I'm explaining to you tonight. But I don't know if parents follow all this, but this is what Nigeria, or according to the health system in Nigeria, this is what they expect every child to get from birth till 5 year old. Right, so by 12 months, your baby is to come back for the vitamin A. In fact, I've seen some parents that said they were not aware that a baby is to get vitamin A by 6 months. So 6 months, your baby has vitamin A1. 12 months, your baby has vitamin A2. Now, please take note as well. This vitamin A, your baby would keep collecting it 6 months interval until he or she is 5 years old. So it means once your baby takes the 4 dose of vitamin A by 6 months, second dose by 12 months, it means you would keep going to the primary health care center 6 months interval. It means when your baby is 1 year, 6 months, you report back to the primary health care center for another vitamin A dose till your baby clocks 5 years old. So till the baby is 5, the baby is to keep reporting to the primary health care center to be having doses of vitamin A every 6 months interval till your baby becomes 5 year old. How many of us did they carry back for vitamin A? Go and ask your parents at home. Right? So you know if you fully took vitamin A. If not, it's not too late. Go and buy the capsule and start taking your vitamin A. Right? So each child is to keep getting the vitamin A dose till he or she is 5 years. So once the baby is 5, they've taken all their vitamin A dose. They're protected against any vitamin A deficiency or insufficiency in the body as well. Now, there's something called the DTP, the diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis booster, which they've already taken by 6 weeks, right? But they are coming back again to take. That's why it's called booster. And like I said earlier, that there's some vaccines that were actually meant to come back for to boost the immune system. Just come and take, just to make your immune system rigid against the occurrence of this kind of disease in the nearest future. So DTP booster, OPV booster, which is the oral polio vaccine booster, the PCV booster, and the meningococcal conjugate as well. This one is not a booster. This one is the real vaccine. So by 6 months, your child is to have one vaccine. By 9 months, 3 vaccines. By 12 months, 5 different vaccines. That's what your baby is to take. Now, let's talk about 15 months as well. Once your baby clocks 15 months, they are still not free. So here is a detailed illustration of 15 months to 5 years. So once your baby is 15 months, you are to bring your child back for the measles 2. Your baby had the first measles when he or she is 9 months, measles 1. So measles 2 is to be by 15 months, which is 1 year, 3 months. So at 15 months, you come back with your baby so that the baby can get immunized for the second dose of measles to prevent and protect your baby from the occurrence of measles. Now by 18 months, which is 1 year, I think 18 months to be 1 year, 6 months, you are to bring your baby back to the hospital for hepatitis A vaccine. We call another vaccine MMRV, which is simply the measles, mumps, rubella, and varicella or chickenpox. So by 18 months, your baby is taking 2 different vaccines. The first one is hepatitis A, and the second one is MMRV, which is the measles, the mumps, rubella, or chickenpox, not even R, and chickenpox. So that MMRV is protecting your baby against the occurrence of measles, of mumps, of rubella, and chickenpox. So by 18 months, your baby is to get vaccinated twice with hepatitis A and MMRV. So once your baby is 2 year old, you have to bring your baby back for what we call the typhoid vaccine. Thinking about all this, I'm really asking myself that did they give me all these things? I thank God. But did they take me back for all these things by 2 years? Because I really or hardly see this happening. But I'm reading out the Nigeria the Nigeria schedule to you. But I hardly see these things happening. And that's why I actually want everyone to have knowledge, because change starts from you and I, right? People might not know. And that's why, because I believe that some people are following this thing strictly, but some don't care. Some don't even know, because I can't care about what I don't know about. So some do not know, some do not care. And I know that people, their parents that are following strictly the immunization schedule, that are taking their kids to get immunized every time. And listen, it's not a matter of their rich. That's how rich people do. It's not a matter of being rich or not, because when it's rich down now, let me bring up the Yoruba part. When it's rich down now, even you that is not rich, you will join, right? So I just want everyone to build a consciousness of the vaccines that your child is entitled to right from birth till they get to 5 year or till they grow into adulthood, right? So when your child is 2 year old, you're expected to bring your child back for the typhoid vaccine to protect your child against typhoid. That's what the typhoid vaccine actually does. Now, when your child is 5 years old, so from the space of 2 to 5 years, your child can rest, which means that your child already has the necessary vaccines that are actually needed to help to fight and defend the body system. I mean, your baby has been taking a lot from birth, so there is nothing that want to come near your baby again, because he has taken for tuberculosis, for measles, for chickenpox, for hepatitis A, so many vaccines. So your baby is safe and secure to 5 years old. Oh, thank you. Till 5 years old. So when your child is 5 years old, your child is to take what we call the OPV booster. Please take note. Your child has taken OPV right from birth. Remember, right from birth to 6 weeks to 10 weeks to 14 weeks. Your baby took 4 doses of the OPV. In fact, your baby already took a booster. Let's go back to the last slide. At 12 months, your baby took the OPV booster. But at 5 years again, your child is to come back for the OPV booster once again, the DTP booster, the MMR, and the vaccine. Remember, I said MMR is for measles, mumps, and rubella. Now, at 18 months, your baby took the MMRV, which is against measles, mumps, rubella, and chickenpox. Now, for 5 years, your child is to come back for OPV booster, DTP booster, MMR vaccine as well. And all these vaccines are to keep your child safe. A healthy child equals a healthy parents. If a child is not healthy, even the parents will join, right? So that's all your child is to take by the age of 5. Now, let's talk about when your child clocks 9 to 15 years old. When your child clocks 9 to 15 year old, the first thing your child is to take when they enter the, should I say, adulthood stage. I just took mine, I think 2 months ago. I just took my HPV. I just took my HPV. HPV simply means human papilloma virus, and that is the virus. I mean, that's the virus that causes cervical cancer. Pardon me, right? So that HPV causes cervical cancer. It's called the HPV, human papilloma virus, which causes the cervical cancer. Now you are trying to prevent the cervical cancer, so you are giving the vaccine against it, which means when it's introduced into the body, what will happen? The antibody recognizes and fights against it. So now the human papilloma virus vaccine is for both male and female, but most cases I see only females take it. It's for both male and female, right? Because anybody can have cervical cancer. So, okay, not everybody, but it's just very pertinent that you take the vaccine against it as well. So it is for both male, it is for both male and female. So male and female are to take the HPV vaccine, and I think it's 2 doses. Yeah. So I took one, and I'll get the other one, when they call me to come and get it. But it's always 2 doses of HPV. So once your child is already within the age of 9 to 15, they can go out to take the HPV vaccine. Now, at that same age range, your child is also to take what we call the TDP booster. You can see the arrow. The arrow starts from HPV down to the TDP booster. They took the DPT booster as well, I think around the age of, let's go back. I know they took it by 5 years. They took it by, I think, even I think 9 months. They took it by 9 months. By 12 months, they took the DTP booster by 12 months. Now again, by the age of 9, they have to come back again to take what we call the TDP booster and tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis booster. Now, this booster I should be taking every 10 years. I'm thinking about my life as well, because I know that my mommy, if at all she gave or took me there, is once. Now, the Nigerian schedule says it should be taken every 10 years to protect an individual. Now, even when you are no longer young, right? It is to protect you against tetanus, lockjaw. Tetanus infection is quite severe, because it causes lockjaw, like there's stiffness in this in the jaw muscle, and you're not able to move it, then it causes, diphtheria as well, and whooping cough can also occur. So this booster is to be taken every 10 years. It means if the first one you took was, let's say, maybe you were 6 weeks or 10 weeks, it means 10 years after, go for another booster. Let them just get you vaccinated, and just keep your immune system rolling and active, and say, no CDP can come near me, because we are already what been vaccinated so many times. So this TDP booster is to be taken 10 years interval. May God help us all. Then the next one is yellow fever booster. This is also a booster, because yellow fever had just one dose, which was at 9 months. It had just one dose, but now every 10 years you have to go back for the yellow fever booster, which is to actually boost it. It's like boosting what is already there, right? It's like pushing or making effective what is already there. So every 10 years you have to go for the TDP booster and the yellow fever booster as well. Now we also call something TT, but mostly TT is, pregnant women take TT. What I was taught in school as well is that pregnant women take TT. But according to the Nigeria immunization schedule, TT starts from age of 15 and above, right? If you are 15 and over 15, you can take TT. Now, TT simply means tetanus toxoid, right? Which means you are being prevented against tetanus. Now, the first dose of TT is when you come in contact with whoever vaccinates you. That is the first dose. Now, the second dose of TT should be taken 4 weeks after the first dose. It means if I give you the first dose, maybe May 1, it means by what was the next month? June 1. I think that's a whole 4 weeks. You should be back for the second dose. Now, this second dose would provide 3 years of protection against tetanus. That is the shall I say effectiveness of the second dose of the TT. The first dose, that one is like being, is like just I'm introducing you. Remember, like the OPV 0, it's like I'm just introducing you to that particular vaccine. So it does not really do much. But the second dose that you take 4 weeks after the first dose will protect you for 3 years. Now the third dose is to be taken, sorry, pardon me. Now the third dose is to be okay. The third dose is to be taken at 6 months after you take 6 months after you take the second dose, right? I'm not trying to confuse myself. So it should be taken 6 months after you take the second dose. Now, this third dose would give you 5 years maximum protection against tetanus. The first dose should be taken when you come in contact with the vaccine. Second dose should be taken 4 weeks after the first dose, and that would give you 3 years protection against tetanus. Now, the third dose should be taken 6 months after the second dose, and would give you 5 years protection against tetanus. Now, the fourth dose should be taken 1 year after the third dose, which is 1 year after 6 months. It simply means you are going back 1 year after the 6 months that you took to take another tetanus toxoid vaccine, and this would protect you for 10 years, right? The third dose will protect you for 5 years. Second dose will protect you for 3 years. Third dose will protect you for 5 years, and the fourth dose would protect you for 10 years. Now you would go back to take the final TT 1 year after the fourth dose again. Now, this one would give you protection throughout the childbearing years. But one thing I noticed about this tetanus toxoid vaccine is most times they tell people to take it when they are pregnant. Women, they tell women to take it while pregnant. So it's like, oh, you are pregnant now, go and take it to protect yourself and your baby. But like I said, and I'm saying again, every woman above the age of 15 can take the tetanus. The first dose is when you come in contact with whosoever vaccinates you. Second dose would be 4 weeks after the first dose, and the third, and that one gives you 3 years of protection against tetanus. The third dose will be 6 months after the second dose, and that one will give you 5 years protection against tetanus. And the fourth dose will be 1 year after the third dose, and that will give you 10 years protection against tetanus. And the last dose will be 1 year after the fourth dose. So you are taking it the first contact, 4 weeks after, 6 months after, 1 year after, 1 year after. That's how you take the 5 doses of the tetanus toxoid vaccine. And the last dose you take would give you protection throughout your childbearing age or during pregnancy as well. But if you say you've taken it, you are fine. But if you've not taken it before pregnancy, during pregnancy, it's something I see most women collect. Women will collect it. They will compulsory it for you during pregnancy. But if you've taken it maybe before you got pregnant, that's fine. But you can also take yours during pregnancy. So these are the basic vaccines that everyone is entitled to. That is very important. Remember, some are taken as birth, some are boosters, just to keep you moving and to keep your immune system very strong and rigid and strong and firm as well. Now, the hepatitis B vaccine as well, right? People are above 19 take it. So I remember that they came to my, I don't know who they have, but I know that some people came to our secondary school back then and they did our test and they gave us the vaccine. I think I was in junior secondary school, so I must have been around maybe 12, 13, 14. They came and they gave us the hepatitis B, right? But I'm saying it now that if you've not taken your own hepatitis B, you can always still take your hepatitis B because it's never too late. Don't wait. Listen, hepatitis B will not protect if you already have the hepatitis B. The vaccine will not protect it because the vaccine can't do anything again because now you have been infected already. It's just taking drugs to help you. So to actually prevent it, it's better to take it before exposure, especially if you are in the medical or healthcare system. You know how things can be. So you can still go for your hepatitis B as well and keep yourself safe. So these are the basic vaccines that the Nigeria immunization schedule is all about. And the last slide says questions or comments. You got any question that you want to ask? Now, the common reactions or side effects of vaccine is there can be fever, right? Now, there can be pain in the injected hand. When I took my HPV, I was in my hand like this. Like I was in my hand, it's like I could hardly move the hand as if the hand was just paining me and I could hardly move the hand as well. So there might be pain in the injected side. Now there might be, well, there should be no redness, but even if there's redness, it might actually go that very day, or swelling, which should go that day. But once the swelling persists for like 3 days, it's not going down, please carry your child back to where they give your child the vaccine, no, right? Now there can be fever, there can be chills, you might feel weak. Yeah, these things happen, you might feel weak. But if all the weakness and the fever and the chills is surpassing 2 days, carry your child go back home, right? And in some cases, when they actually vaccinate your child, right? But for babies, they mostly say don't give paracetamol. Only in severe cases that the baby would have to take paracetamol, right? But these are common vaccination side effects or reactions, and everything would resolve within 1 or 2 days, and your baby will be fine. And for the BCG, there would always be, this sore. This looks like a little stomach. But if the sore comes with pus, carry your baby back home. It's not supposed to come with pus. Just like a little. So I'm trying to see if you can see mine, but I'm not sure you can. But yeah, it is, right. It's just like this, yeah, just like this. So this is my own BCG mark because my mommy ensured that they gave me at the right place, intradermal, not subcute, no IM. Right? So for those that don't have, you were not given in the right place as well. So I think that's all about immunization. That's all you need to know about immunization schedule in Nigeria. Immunization is a very important and interesting. I for one am very particular because I know that if I eventually have children now, I know that as I'm carrying my child for BCG, I know the work is doing. I know that if I'm carrying my child for HPV, I know the work is doing because I have the knowledge. I have been educated towards it, and I know. That's why I had the session so that everybody would know. So if perhaps you come in contact with the session, I hope that this session would actually help you to be fully informed, well informed, and well knowledgeable about the topic on immunization as well. It's such an amazing and interesting topic, and I'm informed. So I know what my child should take. I know what my cousin, my sibling, I know what my niece, my nephew should take because I now have the knowledge. And that's why I say your knowledge is not even for you alone, it's for everyone around you. Because when I know, I cannot help others. When I know, I can tell you, oh, it's not that way, it's that way, it's not this way, it's that way. So I just love to know things and to keep on knowing things. That's basically how it works. And I hope that you've learned tonight. Thank you for being here. It was such an amazing time discussing and talking with you all. And now let me make you an announcement. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We love you. We celebrate you. Thank you for being a part of L Talk with Kemi. Thank you for being a part of tonight's session. It's so good to have you on board. Now, please do not leave. We would love you to be a part of us. Kindly click on the red button below to subscribe and get notified whenever we upload a new video or whenever we have these live sessions going on, please click on the red button below so you can subscribe and be a part of us. Help us to hit our YouTube goal. Help us to become a YouTube partner with us so we can also become a YouTube partner. Thank you so much. Thank you. Keep sharing, keep reposting. Do you have any questions or comments before we call it tonight? In the absence of no questions or comments, I would love to bring down my slide as I introduce to you something else. So thank you for being here once again. Such an amazing experience with you all tonight. And I also quickly want to chip in something. This is called the Part a Girl Child Initiative. This is something we are planning to do in the L Talk with Kemi community. So May 28th, 2025 is the World Menstrual Hygiene Day, and we are trying to reach out to students, underserved communities, students who do not really have the knowledge on menstrual hygiene or do not even have access to menstrual or sanitary products or materials. So we are trying to reach out to 100 students to educate them on menstrual hygiene and also give them free sanitary materials. Even if we cannot continue, but I believe that this is a start to to better things as well. So we love you to partner with us, whatever amount. Each part costs 500 naira. So a pad for a girl child costs 500 naira. So your donations amount will go a long way in helping us to achieve our goals and to reach out to many students as possible on May 28th. Now the recording would also be on YouTube. We would make sure that there is a live stream of when we go to the schools and when we take them about menstrual hygiene as well. And you will also get the recording on YouTube. So help us to fight against on hygienic period. Help us to fight again lack of knowledge and lack of access to sanitary materials. So please kindly give. I think the account details is also on the flyer. If you would love to give, please give towards this cause and let's empower every girl child. Let's help every girl child. Let's help them to have a better and more hygienic period. Let's help them to be more confident in themselves. Let's help our girl child to be so confident. I think that menstrual hygiene or menstruation as a topic is something not fully discussed. I feel like people try to hide it and say, okay, don't let us disclose it too much. But all the girl child need to know what menstruation is, how to keep themselves. I mean, menstruation is not a time for you to look dirty, smell dirty, look unhygienic because you are menstruating, right? So I believe that with this knowledge and with the access to materials and products that they can use, it will also help them to actually, shall I say, to help them to be strong, to be more courageous, and be more bold, even about their outer appearance as well. So help us join in the support for the girl child. Here it is. There is a need for the girl child to be educated on proper menstrual hygiene and be cared for. Join us in this project as we give 100 girl child pad in the community of Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. For donations, message, and for partnership and sponsorship, please contact the number attached to the flyer as well. And let's get all the girl child, at least the 100 girl child sanitary product materials, and access to good knowledge on menstrual hygiene as well. Thank you for all that you did to such an amazing and wholesome time doing this and educating. I love to teach, even if my mouth aches. I just love to teach. Thank you for being here and thank you for being a part of this. And I hope that you've learned it all tonight. Don't forget to go back to the recording if you have questions. I believe that all your questions have been answered in tonight's session. And every further question can be directed to my DM or to any of our page. Follow us follow us on YouTube, L Talk with Kemi. Follow us on Instagram, L Talk with Kemi. Follow us on Facebook, Omolenyoluwa Kemi, and my WhatsApp number. I'm not sure it's there. For all the platforms, you can just send in your question and we'll provide the answers to your question. God bless you. Thank you for always being here. And I hope that this recording would bless you even as you listen to it, that you shall gain the knowledge that you need to equip your child and to help your child to live a brighter, healthier, and better future as well. I celebrate every parent who makes things happen and who have taken the care of their children and the health of their children into their able hands. God bless you. God empowers you, and God keeps strengthening you to take care of the children that He has given to you. I love you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight as well. God bless you and have an amazing weekend. Love you. See you next week. Don't miss next week. We'll be talking about marriage compatibility. Before you say I do, we need to do some medical tests. Are you sure? Are you ready? All right. See you next week, May 23rd, 2025. God bless you.